Hey guys, so as you'll kind of tell throughout the video, my voice is a little cracked, so please bear with me. Thank you for everybody who said happy anniversary or sent kind words. I definitely appreciate it. We had a wonderful weekend, but something did happen this weekend, and I think, it's important to share those kind of things because it does play a part into why I review the way I do, because I get a lot of feedback about how I review, not necessarily negative, but just so to get a better understanding of why I am the way I am. So if you have followed me for some time, or if you haven't, whichever, maybe you followed and didn't know, I did take some months off because I did have several deaths in close proximity that were really impactful to me. And I just needed just some time to really just process. I was really overwhelmed. And so last night, after a really great weekend, I got a call from my mom saying, that I needed to pray for somebody. And so, I said, okay, well, what's going on? And if you don't know, I help take care of my parents. And my dad, I've been with him every step of the way. And a part of that process has been dialysis for him, which he's been on for about 8-9 years. And along the way, I know all the doctors, all the people along the way, but there's some special people that we've met along the way. And last night, while he was at dialysis, one of those special people passed away. And I'm sharing it with you guys because I know sometimes, if you know me, then I'm all about real life experiences and how they relate when we look at stuff. And when you hear me critiquing perhaps Destiny or another, whomever else, Keenan, I think it's important to understand that it's critiquing from a place of love, because I've been so blessed to see that nobody is all one way. So even when we see bits or pieces of something that we might not like, understanding that they're more than that, and that, sometimes there may be stuff that we don't see. So I'm never criticizing the bash. And I say that because the man that passed away last night, ironically enough, we called him Mr. Mean, because he was very petty sometimes. Sometimes he'd speak, sometimes he wouldn't. He'd do petty stuff like he wants to be first in this chair at dialysis, and he'd do little things to finagle to make it happen. And some people who don't get to see the other side, that's all they see of him. So that's all they have to go by of who he is. And don't get me wrong, he do it to my dad too sometimes. But what I also know about him, when anything happened with my dad, one of the first people to call, if he looked over and didn't see my dad in his chair, because, when you're going through something like that, you know that there are, everyone's fragile in some way. He would be one of the first to check, where's Richard? Where's Clark? Is he okay? So I just say that to say that, when we are looking at these people, when we're looking at whomever, and just in real life, because this is so much more than Love Island, to really just pause, as we judge people sometimes just for moments, because some stuff can just be a moment. Something can be something, I mean, whether it be a character flaw, whichever, but it doesn't have to be that total person. And so getting into that, so we're going to jump into Love Island, because I'm not here to make y'all cry or send testimonies, but even looking last night, because I know I've been hard on some people, but in that, I watched Destiny last night, and it looked like I felt for her, because and I'm going to be all over the place. It's not going to be in any kind of order as far as what we're talking about with Love Island today, okay? Because bear with me, as that was a lot. But I looked at Destiny, I really felt for her, because she didn't seem well, and I don't know if she's, emotionally drained or physically drained, but she seemed off. But she seemed like she was trying to push through. Now, while I have not liked some of her behavior and antics, last night when Zay pulled her over, which I know earlier with the girls, she did say that she needed to have some conversations and that. Now, when it came time, when Zay pulled her over for the conversation, she said she didn't feel like talking at that moment, which respectfully I felt like she had every right to say. Now, I understood that Zay wanted to say what he had to say, but respecting how people feel is so important. And also being mindful if your partner has been gone for some time. And again, I don't care whether you're coupled up for real, whatever, just human respect for another human, because it goes both ways. If I'm going to call it out with this one, I'm going to call it out with that one. What he could have done to maybe make the situation better, even if, well, let's just backtrack. Hold on. He didn't need to say anything else because he's told her several times that he's open. There's no need to keep rubbing it in or say, you've done it. It's understood. Now, whether you felt like she didn't understand it or she's a grown woman, she's smart, she understands, and if not, she'll see. But you've said it at least 2 or 3 times at this point. No need to say it again. Or even if you wanted to clarify some things, and at this point, like if somebody says they don't want to speak, it wasn't so important at that moment that it had to happen. So if she said she didn't want to speak, then, you could have just let it go. But how you could have made that situation different, perhaps, is instead of just pulling and kind of doing it the way you did, are you okay, partner? If we're together in this villa, again, just having respect, and I haven't seen you for a few days because you've been out of commission, how are you doing? Are you okay? Are you, how are you feeling? Starting with that can change the whole trajectory of where the conversation goes and the mood and atmosphere goes. And I think that could have made a huge difference. And no, maybe they still obviously would stand where they stand as far as ending everything, which is totally fine. But having empathy and a respect for an individual can take you so much further. And staying in Destiny, I'm talking about Destiny, which is hard because every time I think we've seen Destiny initially with a guy, I feel like it goes really well. I think Scott was no different. It really, felt good and natural as she was talking to him. And I feel like out of all the girls, because I can't say that we know he has a type, but certainly in the UK, that he seemed to like a brown girl. And in that, I really felt like this could be good. Now, there is a little age difference, but, whatever. But I feel bad because I don't know if she's so exhausted and spent, because she seemed like she was trying to push through, but she still seemed just out of it. So I'm interested to see, can this go somewhere? Because even I said you kind of saw the camera pan to Zay's face. Now, we don't know the timing and editing, but I'm wondering sometimes when you've canceled something and you see somebody else with an opportunity, do you feel good about your decision, or do you really just want to stand on it because that's genuinely how you feel? So I'm interested to see how this plays out. Amani went on a date with Scott as well. Scott was really just pulling everybody and kind of getting a vibe and just trying to see. And honestly, for me, the most natural vibe that I felt for him was with Destiny. Amani is, I thought she came across, fun and, I thought she came across nice with Scott, but it didn't feel as natural and as genuine as I felt like the conversation him and Destiny had. So and that was from his conversations with Cassie and Johnny, because Cassie still seems to have, she's kind of trying to be on the ups from whatever she had, with Leo, but, so she's getting the attention and I think she's liking it, but I think she's focused on getting all of the attention and kind of trying to one up. I think that's where we are right now with her. And I think, and given the small amount of time we have and just in general, it's going to be a hindrance to move forward with anybody. In saying that, Leo does keep trying. He seems very persistent. I just wish I could take my shoe and throw at him. I want him to stop. I get it, I get it on some level, but let me say something I didn't like. Something he said that I didn't like was that he gave his situation up or with Cassie for nothing. And I think that's insulting to Johnny. I didn't feel that, because you are the one who said that Johnny was this magical person. She was so amazing. You just felt this spark that you hadn't felt with anybody. It was this depth. And now all of a sudden she's nothing. I didn't love that comment, but it is what it is. And it's a life lesson learned from Leo. he's young, and I think that this will be a good experience to take from, learn, and reflect. I don't know if Cassie's going back at this point because, I think I think she wants to in a sense, but I think she's about proving points. In proving points, that is what I really feel like the whole move with Johnny is about. While I think her and Johnny may have some connection on their situation with Leo, honestly, I feel like Cassie and Johnny both want to stick it to Leo. And it's kind of like for Cassie, it's like, well, you got your girl and you tried to do this, but watch how I'm going to take your girl. And, I could imagine that probably feels good. Same thing for Johnny. Like, haha, you thought you were going to dump and leave me, but watch what I do. And, in some ways, I'm here for the mess, the pettiness of it all. Like, again, life lessons are being learned. But obviously, I think that it has to be run by the producers, or it has been rather. And I think this season, the struggle for me a little bit is just that everything seems so contrived and calculated overall. It's missing true, genuine connections. And the ones that were here, I feel, have left the villa. And, whether that be genuine in a healthy way, whichever. I do feel like Taylor, Lord, y'all, forgive me, I've been through some stuff. Keenan and KK, I really do feel like there was something. And then just hearing from other Islanders that have left, there's dynamics that we didn't get to see with Keenan and KK that, I think that there could be some kind of real connection. Now, again, whether it lasts in the real world, I'm just saying just pure chemistry or something that attracts to people. Taylor and Jonah, we didn't get to see a whole lot of them, but again, it seemed more like a real connection than what we see from what we have left. Bergie and Taylor, I can just say Taylor because the other Taylor's gone. She has closed herself off. And so again, still, I don't know if that is a real connection but she is playing the game as such. This season, like I said, just feels like we're checking boxes. So it's very much, and in some ways, I have nothing wrong with checking boxes on some level, because I think it is a great thing to make sure that you are doing things that can appeal to everyone, to the diverse nation that we live in, okay, and the world, because we have a lot of people watching from other countries as well. So I think it is nice that they have brought in more people of color. We've got Latino women, we've got Latino men, and it's nice to see that. It is also, which I can't confirm, but y'all know how I feel when it comes to Bergie. And as a neurodivergent myself, I do love seeing what I think that is, and kind of seeing how that can blossom in a different, in an environment where it is not just about like some kind of science experiment where we're going to dissect how these people move. But in some ways, that is where I feel like they missed the mark just in general, because while I feel like that's not the route they wanted to take, in some ways it does feel very calculated. Like, okay, we're going to make sure we did this, this, and this. And now with the whole Cassie and Johnny thing, I feel like now it's just like, where we're going to check the box now with the LGBTQA community is to show, look, like, we've got this, we've got that, which is great. And I'm all for it in some ways, but it just doesn't seem authentic and genuine. And I think that's where the beauty of it can come. Like, whether you feel some type of way about some of the people last year or not, the connections and just everything seemed to be so much more genuine, and it flowed. And even so when you get to some of the challenges, it even made some of those more fun or more make you care more. So even last night, the whole heart rate challenge, and we've only seen 2 go through, and we're going to get into that with Hannah and Carmen. But it's not like years prior, you just felt something, and I just feel like, I don't know if people want to go. It seems like acts are being put on, but it's not good acting at this point. It's just not it. Now, for the heart rate challenge, I don't see anything as far as the USA version. This season is not topping. My top is season 2, Justine and those girls. I just felt like they really brought it. And that's just overall as a whole. We can go into different seasons and pull top rated things. But that season in particular, I just felt like, you know, any season coming after, it's like you really have to bring it. And I just feel like some of this stuff has been lackluster because you don't feel the connections and the that you felt prior. Now, maybe the girls who are coming today will bring a little bit more spice. Because, I mean, they were trying to bring spice, but again, it's just kind of like, eh. Now, what I will say is this Carmen is showing a little bit more personality. Now, it looks like we're going to see even more personality come from her because Kenzo was not feeling his little queen dipping and doing on some of those guys and licking and he's like, no, ma'am. That's what we're not going to do. You're my girlfriend. And so I am interested to see how that's going to pan out because, dude, it's a challenge. And I get it because you do when you are with somebody and you have made agreements. Now, apparently you all agreed in challenges not to kiss anybody else. Technically, she didn't kiss anybody. I could see I could make one feel uncomfortable, but because it's being done as a whole, and you knew kind of it was coming, it's hard to argue that point. Now, some of the guys' faces, I can see how they can make you feel uncomfortable because Kyle was looking like he was really lusting and he was about that life. So I can see how that could make him feel uncomfortable. We're going to see whose heart rate was going up. I feel like Kenzo's heart rate might not have gone up or it could have really skyrocketed because he was upset. But we shall see. Y'all let me know in the comments what you think. Sorry for my tearful little thing in the beginning. I mean, I'm probably going to cry when I get done with this. But I did want to share it because I just think it's important to understand just, you know, when you're talking about people and that, when you are just saying a snippet of something, it doesn't mean that you hate somebody or that, you know, it's all one way, because I genuinely understand that everybody is not all one way. We all consist of some good things, some bad things. And unfortunately, when you go on TV and people choose to show different things and maybe you choose to act in a moment emotionally, it gets captured and that's what you get judged by. So I hope that everybody understands when I'm talking, I'm genuinely not coming from a place of judgment. It's coming from a place of just matter of fact, you know, even with myself, if you caught me in a bad moment, we're all going to have those. But, you know, I want to see everybody thrive. I want to see you shine. Destiny, Carmen, Keenan, whomever, other seasons, just all of us in life as we walk through, you having a bad moment with somebody, let's see people shine and encourage them. And it can be in love, kind of calling people out, but still not becoming so hateful with people because of a moment and understanding that we don't get to see everything and that it's all love. Okay, guys? So I love you guys. Thanks for my little TED Talk. Let me get my little rant and vent a little bit to find my peace. I love you guys so much. You guys have a great, great day, and I can't wait to meet you in the comments. Definitely be sure to like. Make sure you're subscribed if you have not. Meet me in the comments because I'll talk back, and I'll talk to you real soon.